For 19 days, outpost Echo-17 was dead. No radio traffic, no movement, no heat signatures, no survivors. By every official record, the outpost had already been erased. 16 soldiers were listed missing. No confirmed hostile contact. No signs of assault. No bodies recovered. Echo-17 was gone. Then, at 2:13 in the morning, someone answered the radio. The message was short, just 6 words. "We're still here. Please hurry." That was all it took. By 3 a.m., a patrol was already moving into the valley. 5 men, 1 vehicle, 1 signal, and a voice that should not have existed. They thought they were driving into a rescue. They were wrong. Echo-17 sat 40 miles from the nearest operating base, built into the edge of a dead valley where the mountains narrowed into stone and dust. It was a forward listening station. Small, isolated, easy to miss on a map and even easier to forget once you left it behind. Its job was simple. Listen, report, disappear. 16 men rotated through Echo-17 every 2 weeks. They monitored insurgent movement through the valley, tracked supply routes, intercepted radio traffic, and sent everything back to base. Quiet work, routine work, the kind of assignment nobody remembered unless something went wrong. 19 days earlier, something had. At exactly 1:46, all contact with Echo-17 stopped. No distress call, no emergency beacon, no gunfire over comms, no final transmission, just silence. At first, command assumed a systems failure. The valley was known for dead zones, signal interference, and bad weather. A drone was sent over at first light. The outpost was still there. The tower was standing. The perimeter fence was intact. No smoke, no fire. No visible damage, no movement, no heat signatures. Nothing. A second drone flew lower. Still nothing. No breach in the walls. No signs of an attack. No evidence anyone had evacuated. After 7 days, command marked the site as lost. After 10, abandoned. After 14, erased. No one said it aloud, but everyone at base was thinking the same thing. 16 armed soldiers did not just disappear. Then, on the 19th night, Echo-17 called back. The signal came through Channel 3 during graveyard shift at forward operating base Mercer. Private Nolan was alone in the comms room when it happened. Half awake under fluorescent light, stale coffee beside the console, headset hanging crooked over one ear. At first, he thought it was interference. The valley produced phantom signals all the time. Broken frequencies, old chatter bouncing through the mountains, fragments of voices that belonged to no one. Then the static sharpened. A breath came through the headset. Then a voice, weak, male, barely above a whisper. "Mercer, this is Echo-17. Nolan froze. He checked the frequency once, then again. Channel 3 belonged to Echo-17. It had been dead for 19 days. He started recording. The room went still around him. Then the voice returned, cracked and faint. "We're still here. Please hurry." Then silence. No gunfire, no shouting, no second transmission. Within 4 minutes, the recording was on command's desk. Within 12, a patrol was assembled. Sergeant Cole led the team. Cole had spent 8 years in country and looked like the kind of man who had forgotten how to panic. Steady, practical, unimpressed by rumors. He did not believe in ghost stories. With him came Corporal Vance, the medic. Quiet, precise. Specialist Mercer handled comms. Sharp, disciplined, and usually too calm to rattle. Private Hale was the youngest of the 5, barely seasoned enough to hide his nerves. And then there was Dorsey, big, broad, built like a wall, and carrying the heaviest weapon in the vehicle. Dorsey was also the only man in the platoon who never joked about Echo-17. He had served 1 rotation there 3 months earlier. He never talked about it. They rolled out at 3:07, 1 MATV, 5 men, no conversation. Outside the valley was black. No moon, no wind, just dust and engine noise. At 4:11, Mercer caught the signal again. Weak, fragmented, same channel, same voice. "Please." Then static. Cole glanced at him. "That him?" Mercer hesitated. "I can't confirm." Then after a pause, quieter. "But it's human." An hour later, they reached Echo-17. The outpost stood exactly where it should have been. Silent, dark, waiting. The fence was intact. The gate was closed. The tower still stood. No signs of shelling. No breach in the perimeter. No blood near the entrance. It did not look destroyed. It looked abandoned, like 16 armed men had simply stood up and walked away. Cole ordered dismount. Boots hit dust. Weapons came up. No movement, no sound, not even birds. The silence felt wrong. Not quiet. Wrong. Inside the barracks, everything was still in place. Bunks made, blankets folded, cards scattered across a table, one boot lying in the middle of the floor. No blood. No shell casings. No signs of a fight. Just absence. In the mess hall, a tray of food still sat where someone had left it. Dorsey stopped cold when he saw it. Cole noticed. "You've been here before." Dorsey nodded once. Cole waited. Dorsey looked toward the rear of the compound. There was never supposed to be an Echo-17. Cole turned. "What does that mean?" Dorsey hesitated. This place was built over something older. Before Cole could press him, Mercer's radio hissed. "Static." Then the same voice came through again. "Closer now, clearer, don't let them hear you." Every man froze. Mercer stared at the radio in his hand. That wasn't base. Cole took the handset. "Echo-17, identify yourself." Silence. Then one breath. Then a reply. "They're under the tower. Behind the comms tower, buried beneath dust and gravel. Hale found the hatch. A steel maintenance door half buried in the ground. Unlocked. No one had mentioned an access tunnel in the site plans. No one at command had listed underground storage. But there it was. Dorsey stepped back the moment he saw it. Cole grabbed him. "You knew." Dorsey said nothing. Cole tightened his grip. "You knew." Dorsey swallowed. There were stories. Cole let him go. "What stories?" Dorsey stared at the hatch. The men who built Echo-17 weren't the first ones stationed here. Cole pulled the hatch open. The smell hit first. Cold metal, damp earth, burned wiring. A ladder disappeared into darkness. Cole went first, then Vance, Mercer, Hale. Dorsey followed last. Below them stretched a narrow concrete corridor lined with rusted supports, deadlights, and old conduit buried in the walls. It did not look military. It looked older. At the end stood a steel door, already open. Inside were radios, dozens of them, old field sets, relay units. Receivers stacked wall to wall. Most were dead. One was not. Its speaker crackled. Then a voice came through. Clear, calm, familiar. "Cole." Every man froze. Cole went pale, because the voice on the radio was his own. "Do not let them hear you." Only first on. Only for a second. Long enough. 16 names were carved into the wall. Every soldier assigned to Echo-17. And beneath them, 5 more. Freshly carved. Their names. Then darkness returned. Something moved in the corridor behind them. Dorsey fired first. The muzzle flash lit the tunnel in violent bursts. Just enough to show movement. Fast, low, wrong, not one shape. Several. Gunfire filled the corridor. Vance went down first. Hale vanished in the dark. Dorsey kept firing until the tunnel answered with silence. Then the radio spoke again. Cole's voice. "Do not run." Mercer was shaking. "What is that?" Cole stared into the dark and understood. The radios, the voices, the signals. Echo-17 had never gone silent. It had been listening. Every transmission, every voice, every call sign, stored, repeated, replayed, like an echo. Whatever lived beneath Echo-17 had not called for help. It had learned how to ask. Then Hale screamed somewhere in the dark. One scream, then nothing. Cole made the decision instantly. No rescue, no recovery, no extraction. He ripped the demolition charge from Dorsey's kit and shoved it into Mercer's hands. "Get to the surface!" Mercer didn't move. Cole shoved him toward the ladder. "That signal never leaves this valley." Mercer ran. He reached the surface alone, bleeding, half deaf, barely breathing. At 4:43, he triggered the charges. The explosion collapsed the tower, the hatch, and everything beneath Echo-17. By sunrise, the outpost was gone. Officially, the report blamed insurgent explosives buried beneath the site. Mercer signed it. So did command. Echo-17 was erased. No recovery team was ever sent. No bodies were recovered. 6 months later, During another graveyard shift, Channel 3 opened again. Static. A breath. Then Sergeant Cole's voice came through the speaker. Soft. Calm. Waiting. Mercer. A pause. Then the final words. You left us here.